Howdy, folks. Woody Lowe's from eCoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I have just left the cinema where I've seen a film. It's back over that way. And I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home because it simply saves time. This evening we're here to talk about Beauty and the Beast. So, Beauty and the Beast. It doesn't need a synopsis, but I'll give you a synopsis. Synopsis is this. There was a prince who was a prick, and he basically turned away an old crone who turned out to be an enchantress, who basically said, because you didn't like me because I was ugly, you will thus be ugly until you learn that beauty is not just skin deep. Actually, it goes a little bit more than that. He has to fall in love and have that person love him in return, even though he is basically turning into an awesome, powerful chimera of a beast. And time passes, and sure enough, fate conspires to bring a young lady to the castle, and all of the enchanted flatware and gear and whatever else that's in the castle conspires to try to get them to fall in love so that they can become human again and be free to live a life of religious fulfillment. There's your synopsis. So, two things. Number one, this was the film that I saw a bit of when I went to the original D23 Expo in Anaheim. And they showed part of Beauty and the Beast in 3D. And this was, I don't remember when this was. It was a couple years ago. Which I was surprised when they were originally going to do Beauty and the Beast strictly as a Blu-ray 3D release, until the Lion King 3D release kicked everyone in the ass. Because, we'll get to that in a second. But the reason why I was not afraid about Lion King 3D, or at least not as apprehensive as I would be, is because the Beauty and the Beast 3D clip that they showed, which included, and I did a write-up on the site, I know it included the ballroom scene, and I think one other at least. It was fantastic. So I said, look, they're not screwing around, they're doing this properly, it's going to look awesome. And I tried to tell as many people as I could this. Now, that being said, let me just say this. Because Disney, I know you watch these. Not Disney himself, I mean Disney the company. I know many people within Disney the company watch these. So I say to you, please understand that while it is kind of cool to see these films redone in 3D, and redone well in 3D, that's part of the key, that's kind of clever and interesting. But what people are actually showing up for, the majority of people, is they just want to see classic Disney on the big screen. The 3D is incidental. It's cool and all, but really, you remember back when, before we had, 15,000 channels and things to do, and of course, the box office release schedule wasn't as insane as it is now. Remember how Disney, you used to put out films like every 7 years? You would rotate them into theaters because there was no way to see them otherwise? And I know, for some bizarre reason, you've come to the, conclusion that once they're out on DVD, nobody wants to see them on the big screen anymore. Well, that's because if you think that, you're stoned. Often, okay? It's great that you're releasing them in 3D and they're going to look awesome and all that stuff, but really, for the most part, we just want to see the really good films on the big screen. So please do that. Release the 3D and a 2D. And I know you're worried because the box office, the schedule of releases is so crowded, but for God's sake, remember who you are. You're freaking Disney. You used to put out crap and people would go see it, no matter what else was playing. So you can certainly put out, re-release good stuff, and people will see it. Remember, go down to the vault and reclaim your balls. So there you go. Now, the thing about Beauty and the Beast in 3D is, while it's a completely different film than Lion King and African vistas and colors and gorgeous and everything, right, with lots of animals, it's interesting to compare and contrast that with Beauty and the Beast, mostly indoors, mostly gray, not a lot of animals. You've got like a horse and some wolves, and that's about it. and everything else is angular, actual, you know, inanimate objects given animation. So it's an interesting compare and contrast between the two. But for me, the 3D of Beauty and the Beast, first of all, the animation of Beauty and the Beast is what you're really showing up for, because the work of Glenn Keane and everybody else that was involved in that, very awesome. But the 3D effect of it works really well. And even if you've got the 3D Blu-ray of Beauty and the Beast, which you should own, because, you know, you just should, there's no substitute for seeing it on the big screen. It is a big screen film. It works really, really well. There's a lot of depth going on. There's a lot of, like, incredibly clear stuff going on. A lot of just action that, even though, you know how we talked about this with, like, Creature from the Black Lagoon, where there's certain things that 3D films do that kind of very obvious, that even if you watch them in 2D, you go, this was a 3D film, wasn't it? It's funny how there's so much stuff like that in Beauty and the Beast that was coming at the camera that they didn't add. You recognized it from having seen it 15,000 times when you were a fetus, right? But in 3D, it's almost like they were thinking ahead, but they couldn't possibly be thinking ahead. Nobody making this film went, you know what this film really needs? 3D. But it works anyway. So, I mean, that's the main thing about it. The film itself holds up incredibly well. The animation holds up incredibly well. It's still a freaking classic. And they have not injured the classic by injecting it with the 3D. And, you know, you get the Blu-ray 3D, the 2D's there, the 3D's there. You can experience it both ways. So it's intact, which is what you want. But it is just again, just like with Lion King, it's not a better experience. There is no substitute for just seeing the original in the original way. It's just a different experience, and it's a clever experience. But it will never be a substitute for the original. And I don't think it was meant to be. It's just meant to be, as they call it, a special presentation in 3D, and that's it. And thank you, Disney, for not just releasing it to Blu-ray, because when I heard you were going to do that, I was incredibly disappointed, having seen what it looked like on the big screen. And it's just sort of fantastic to see, you know, the Ashman and Menken music again, and to revisit Jerry Orbach, the late great Jerry Orbach again, and the musical numbers are just amazing. So, you know, it's just me gushing over it at this point, which is just obnoxious. So, I would say, if you've not seen it, it's worth seeing. Even if you don't get into the 3D part of it, it's awesome to see on the big screen again. And I urge Disney to just rotate your stuff into the theaters. People will go see it. And it doesn't even have to be kids going to go see it. There was like one kid in the cinema we were in. And this has been out for like about 2 weeks now. So, you're going to make your money back. Forget about it. Cup-wise, I would say that because the original film was 5 cups, easy. And because the 3D doesn't do anything to hamper the enjoyment of the original film, and in some cases enhances it, I would say this is still a 5-cup film. And I recommend that you watch it, and I recommend that you own it for home video, because it's freaking Beauty and the Beast. There's a reason why it was nominated for Best Picture, back when a Best Picture nomination meant something. Those glory days, okay? So there you go. Just wanted to catch up on that one before it left cinemas. So thank you very much for watching, as always. Oh, and by the way, there is a short in front of it. I know we always forget about the shorts. And Cosette was like, what? She was very confused, because she's like, this isn't the opening of Beauty and the Beast. I'm going to stab someone. But no, don't be confused. It's a Tangled short, and those of you who really enjoyed Tangled will enjoy it. It's cute. It's not the best short ever, but it's fun, and that's what you want. So no big deal. But anyway, thanks for everyone who watches these things. If you do watch them, if you do enjoy them, come join us on Facebook. We don't bite unless asked nicely to do so. You can find us at needcoffee.com/Facebook. Please come and like us and join the little insane community that we have going on there. It's much appreciated. And we will see you next time as we strive to get caught up on 2011 so we can wrap up 2011 for those films and yet keep 2012 relatively under control. So we will see you next time. Bye.